بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to continue with this amazing spiritual series, Ibn Ata'illah al-Iskandari's Hikam, the book of wisdom. We are on number 85, and which is on page 142 for those who are following. In this one, he says, again, one of his really penetrating insights, Al-Akwan, ظاهرها غرة وباطنها عبرة فالنفس تنظر إلى ظاهر غرتها والقلب ينظر إلى باطن عبرتها. Very interesting idea. الأكوان ظاهرها غرة وباطنها عبرة فالنفس تنظر إلى ظاهر غرتها والقلب ينظر إلى باطن عبرتها. Outwardly, creatures are an illusion. Outwardly, all creation, every created being, humans, possessions, riches, wealth, all of that, outwardly is an illusion. What does that mean? Does that mean if you touch it, it's just like a mirage and you can't feel it? No. It has a physical entity and an existence, but it's an illusion in terms of what it promises you. What we end up thinking it can do for us. That part is the illusion. But inwardly, they are actually an admonition. Inwardly, they are a lesson. Inwardly, there's something else. Okay, if that's the case, great. The problem then he explains in the next part where he says, thus the soul, the desire, our ego, our passion, looks at the illusory exterior. We just focus on the exterior, that it looks so beautiful, it looks so sweet, it looks so sleek, it looks so fresh. While the heart looks at the admonitory interior. The heart wants to look at the interior, but there's going to be a constant battle between the exterior look of the ego and the interior look of the heart. The eye will follow whichever one is stronger. That's the interesting part. The eye is just an instrument. What the eye does is that it feeds back to our brain, it feeds to our heart, and it feeds to our soul. Our soul wants the eye to look at it, just the exterior part, and wants to dismiss the interior part and blindside ourselves in that regard. That look, it's so beautiful, you need to get it. Everybody else has one, so you need to get one as well. You can't stay behind. It looks so nice. You'll really enjoy it. It'll make your life easier. It'll make you look better. But your inside is saying, no, I don't really need it. It's going to take me away. It's going to distract me. It's going to be israf. It's going to be wastage. But there's a constant. In fact, many of us don't even have that conversation anymore. Many of us can't have that conversation because we've killed the heart. We've subdued it so many times that it's a very weak voice. If there is ever one, right in the background. And that's the way the nafs and the heart works. When the nafs becomes al-ammara bis-su, when it becomes very strong, then the ruh, the heart, can't really compete with it. The only way to change it is renunciation, abstinence, control, and dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the heart will start to talk again. Okay, now I've got an opportunity to speak. And then the eyes will see accordingly. The eyes will see the right thing. They'll dismiss the right thing. Otherwise it can't. It's very difficult when we can't see it. It's just difficult when you can't see it. When we're seeing something with one perspective. How many times has it been when we were observing something with one perspective and we thought that is the way to look at it, and then somebody came and when they told us, no, that's not really a good investment. It's actually a scam. And then suddenly you become so much wiser and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm never going to do that one again. Right? How many times has that happened to us? That actually shows us that we're very gullible. Humans are very gullible. And we can definitely be deceived. So this is what he's telling us, that this is exactly what the deception, this is the biggest deception. This is The greatest deception, if we can't figure it out. If we can't even have that conversation inside anymore, then it's a big issue. At least if you have the conversation, sometimes our heart will win over our nafs. But if our heart is never even protesting anymore, we've killed it. Meaning we've subdued it so much that it can't even speak. It can't even speak. So let us see what our commentary says. He explains it. He says, the concept al-akwanu zahiruha. So he uses the word al-akwan. Akwan means all things which are created. Everything which is a creation. Besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is al-akwan, is a ghirratun. And ghirratun comes from the concept of to deceive. So how is it a deception? He says it's a deception in two senses. It's everything that we see, the apparent nature of it, the dazzling nature of it, is a deception in two ways. Number one is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the apparent nature of many things look very beautiful, look really adorning, really attractive. And this refers to everything that the ego likes. This is everything to do with all the different types of foods, the different types of drinks, the different types of clothing, different types of vehicles, right? What we used to ride. And likewise, desire to, sexual desire essentially, to marry more and to have more just to fulfill pleasure. Places to live, places to own, places to go and have a holiday and to relax. And various other types of efforts that the human soul makes. Then after that, to have an abundance in all of these things. So firstly is to try out all of these things, and then to just have an abundance in all of these things. To have an abundance in these things, have an abundance of children sometimes. If it's for that reason, then it's wrong as well. Have an abundance in children for a different reason. I want to have a whole army to service, to serve the deen of Allah. That would be a different reason. And then he says, likewise, to have lots of friends, have lots of followers, to be a big influencer, to have lots of likes and lots of subscribers, lots of people around us, and everything else that is considered adornment in this world. What happens is that when a person does have all of these things, so those things in themselves are not wrong, they're not problematic, but it's what happens when the nafs takes over. And if a person has all of these things, it just rubs you the wrong way and gives the wrong kind of the wrong kind of attraction is created. So it's actually destructive for us. Otherwise, what he's saying is that فَانْكَبَّ جُلُّ النَّاسِ عَلَى الْإِشْتِغَالِ بِجَمْعِهَا وَتَحْصِيلِهَا. Problem is that the majority of people become so fixated and obsessed with just gathering these things and going after them. That's what the majority do. وَالْجَرْيُ عَلَيْهَا اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارِ. And they focus on it day and night. There is no free time. There is no free time. وَالشُّهُورَ وَالْأَعْوَامِ. And then it goes into months and years, and a person continues to do that until it's too late. حَتَّى هَجَمَ عَلَيْهَا هَادِمُ اللَّذَّاتِ. Until finally the destroyers of all pleasure overcomes that person. That's death essentially. But then it's too late by that time. Because after death nothing can happen. فَأَعْقَبَهُمْ النَّدَمِ. That's when the full remorse. They go from this world actually with remorse. وَالْحَسَرَاتِ, and losses. But then the problem is, وَلَمْ يَنْفَعْ النَّدَمِ. By that time, no remorse is helpful anymore. Because وَقَدْ جَفَّ الْقَلَمِ. Because the pens have dried, the inks have dried, there's no more writing. There's no more decree that's written because it's too late now. Our time is up. So, he says, these people, safaru bila zad. They've gone without any provision. They've left home. They've got nothing to take with them. You know, it's like you've gone out. There's nowhere to buy anything. There's no supplies that you have. So safaru bila zad. وَقَدِمُوا عَلَى الْمَلِكِ بِلَا تَأَهُّبٍ وَلَا إِسْتِعْدَادٍ. And they've now approached the sovereign king, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without any kind of preparation. Without any preparation. Without anything to take with them. فَاسْتَوْجَبُوا مِنَ اللَّهِ الطَّرْدَ وَالْبِعَادِ. So all they're entitled to now and they're worthy of is to be cast away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly wants to tell us that, look, this dunya is a problem. I've given it to you, you have to stay in there. But too much of it is going to kill you. You've got a ship, to get to the other side, and you need the water for the ship to sail. Without that, you can't sail a ship. But if that water gets into you, you get too much of it, it's going to sink you. So it's a necessary thing that you need, but too much of it is a problem. Multiple verses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of in the Quran. So let's start off with زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ, and so on. That's the first verse, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that for people adorned is the love of desirous things, of passionate things. Those things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very attractive for you. And then Allah gives an example. Women is the first example. This women, it's for men. For women it's going to be men, and for men it's going to be women. So here he refers to women, wal-baneen, and children. And then he carries on with the rest of the discussion. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Ali Imran verse 14 and 15 says, قُلْ أَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ. That's an amazing verse, which is, say that, should I inform you of something superior to that? So while these things are what we usually gravitate towards and become obsessed with, should I actually inform you of something superior? لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ جَنَّاتٍ. For those who are God conscious, for those who are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has preserved for them gardens. Not one garden, multiple gardens. تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. They're so wonderful that beneath them rivers will flow. So you've got the water, you've got everything there for yourself. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. And they're going to be in there forever. وَأَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَاتٍ. And there's going to be some pure maidens in there for you. Now this is obviously from the man's perspective. But there's going to be whatever is passion for the women. They get the permissible passions in paradise. Whatever they enjoy. وَأَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَاتٍ وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. But Allah always puts out وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. But it's the satisfaction of Allah ultimately what you're going to get there as well. Allah is going to be satisfied with you. وَاللَّهُ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. Allah is always very closely watching His slaves. Allah is very closely watching His slaves. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا لِنَبْلُوَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Whatever we have placed on the earth, that we always gravitate and look towards, and there's always something new on Instagram telling us to buy something and sign up for something, right? All of that we place on the earth is a zina, it's just adornment. It looks beautiful. But what's behind the adornment is nothing. Why do we do this though? So that we can test you, to see how truthful you are and how particular you are, and who the best of you is in action. There's a narration which talks about the A'raf. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ الْأَعْرَافِ رِجَالًا. Right? So there's a A'raf. There's the people of paradise, there's the people of hellfire, and then there's going to be a group of people for a short while, or for some time, they're going to be called the people of the A'raf. The A'raf is a small kind of area between paradise and hell, which is like a raised small hill, a hillock. They're going to be able to see paradise, and they're going to be able to see hellfire as well. They will see the people in paradise, they'll see the people of hellfire. Who are these people? They're people, multiple opinions, but the kind of well-known opinion is that these are the people who could be those who did some good deeds, but also did some problematic deeds. So Allah is letting them suffer a bit more. So they see the people who've gone to paradise, they've seen the people go to hell, and they don't know which way it's going to go, right? So they're obviously very, very sad. They're hoping here, but so it's that comparison. There's a psychological effect to that. Just like the people of hellfire will be able to see the people of paradise, which makes it even worse for them. And for the people of paradise, because somebody asked me this question the other day. He said that if the people of paradise are such that it's just all blessing, just bounty, just all bliss, and just all pleasure, don't you get bored of that kind of stuff? You don't get bored in paradise anyway, because there's going to be a new pleasure all the time. It's just going to be so much to discover. There's infinite things to discover in paradise. But you also have a comparison. So it's not that you only see the people around you at paradise. You can actually check hell out in the sense that you can see what's going on there and constantly be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that allows paradise to even be better and to continue to do shukr of Allah. There's no ibadat in paradise, but there's definitely remembrance of Allah because you're in paradise to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the people on the A'raf, one of the categories of people are those whose good deeds are exactly the same amount as their bad deeds. How they got that, I don't know, right? But it's absolutely equivalent to such a degree that what the narration mentions, that there's not even this amount of the egg of a louse more on one side. I asked somebody, I go, have you ever seen the egg of a lice? Lice, lice in the hair. They're so small already that they are so difficult. It's the egg of that. Even that much is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking into consideration. Allah's penetrative hisab, His accounting, His reckoning is to that and further level. So He's got those guys who are exactly alike, that there's not even that much more on one side. Right? So they're exactly equal. He's going to have those guys there. Of course, if it goes one more side to the paradise side, inshallah, it's paradise anyway. Otherwise, it could be hellfire, then to paradise if you have belief inside. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some of them said, I don't even mind being Ashab al-A'raf because finally they will go to paradise. I don't even mind being there as long as I'm not people of the hellfire. So that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's reckoning is. It's so finite. That's why what that tells us, essentially, what that does for me is that there's any good deed, even if it's like you're walking and there's a bottle, right? Or there's one of those bikes for hire and they just fall on the ground, just pick it up, put it aside. Because at least then that's the lowest level of iman anyway. That will be counted. We're going to need that in the hereafter, even something as small as that. وَإِتَّقُوا النَّارَ وَلَوْ بِشِقِّ تَمَرَةٍ. Beware of the fire, even if it's to do with half a date. So I find half a date, it could be sadaqah date, it could be mine, it could be somebody else's. Let me not take that. And then, when we come out of shopping, sometimes they haven't charged us. Then it's their fault. They didn't charge us. That means they must be giving it to us. Man, they made a mistake. Humans made a mistake. If that was your shop, how would you feel? Right? So it's just not worth it. These small things are just not worth it. They're just not worth the agony that's going to create. Thereafter that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Taha, وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ زَهْرَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا لِنَفْتِنَهُمْ فِيهِ. That do not extend your eyes. This is what happens. We just look at others. Today I was stuck somewhere. I had gone somewhere. I thought I'd get an Uber. And this country in Uber is not good. In China, you ask for one of those cars. There's a car within a minute. Every single time we went for a car doing their DD. They have a DD, right? It's one of their, it's like Uber. Within a minute, you got a car. And in this country, it's freezing cold right today, and I got stuck somewhere. I thought I'll just take a taxi back. Uber, 10 minutes. It's like, man, can't stand around for it. I could walk it to the station in that. I carried on, got somewhere else. Another Uber, 15 minutes. I was like, forget it. Then I walked to the station, took the train. Right? So, as I'm walking, I went into an area of Wanstead. There's all these big houses. Right? You see all of these big houses, big driveways. Right? And it's like, wow, And then you just think, I'm satisfied with what I have. Why does that? But it just beckons to you. Like, why can't I have that? There's always this, I said, a voice inside the heart. You always see something better. There's always going to be something better in this world. You have to say and remind yourself, Allah, shukr that what I have anyway. Why do I need this? It's extra work anyway. There's various ways to deal with that. But the main thing is that it should never be a cause. I don't need that. I'm satisfied anyway. That should be immediate rather than, and it will eventually become like that once we comfort ourselves each time. It's okay. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's called satisfaction, contentment. Otherwise, there's always something better. What are we going to do? Just go to bigger places, bigger cars, better things. That's our life pursuit is going to be, right? There's something that I've been thinking about, that if a person is making a decent income, right? In the sense that Allah has given him, mashallah, decent income, good place to live, everything they need. They even have extra money for a holiday every year or go for Umrah every year. And then they're still saving £5,000-10,000. So now why do they work so hard for? Beyond that, to make more. If you've got a plan for that more, alhamdulillah. I need to make more so I can assist people.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. MashaAllah, it's very, very cold today and I'm rubbing my hands. But very important message. Would you like a place in paradise, in Jannah? A place with bricks of gold and silver, mortar of fragrant musk, pebbles of pearls and sapphire, soils of saffron. You may have not heard me talk like this before. But mashallah, gardens outside the palaces will have streams flowing beneath them. The streams of Jannah will be crystal clear water. And then after that, you're going to have others with milk and of honey and rivers, mashallah. Brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever builds a masjid for Allah, Allah will build for him likewise in paradise, something similar in paradise. White Thread Institute, which you all know inshallah, desperately needs to develop this center of ours to accommodate people, students and worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This area doesn't have a masjid, so we want to give service to all sections of the community once this is built, including the wider society. We need to raise 450,000 to achieve this. We just need 44,500 special people to donate just £100 each to reach our target. Brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ said, I'm going to reiterate, whoever builds a masjid for Allah, Allah will build for him similar in paradise. What an amazing reward this is. Imagine, if you just donate £100 in this world, Allah will build for you a house in paradise. Not just any house. A paradise house is not any house. Whatever your heart desires will be in this place. Not only this, brothers and sisters, but this project is also sadaqah jariyah, which means a continuous charity. If you donate, then anytime somebody prays here, worships here, learns anything from here and prays elsewhere, you get the same reward inshallah. Every person who learns the Quran, reads, you will get the same reward inshallah. What an amazing reward, subhanallah, that is waiting for you. All for just £100. Brothers and sisters, build your home in paradise. Donate towards this masjid. On the button below, hit the link. And one more thing, please. Share this video. And anybody else that donates, because of your sharing this video, inshallah, you will be rewarded as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allah reward you. Jazakumullah khairan.
Right? If you have no plan except to make just more money, then that's a major problem. Because Allah has given you sufficient, and now in us focusing more on that more, we're probably messing up with our family and our deen. We're probably not praying the salats that we need to do in the masjid, etc. We're probably not doing enough. We're probably not donating enough. That means we're making more for the sake of more. Just find out, are we making more for the sake of more? Otherwise, there's multiple justifications. But that justification better be something righteous. So if you want to make more, because I understand money is what makes everything important today, right? There's people with money saying all sorts of things, right? Allah Ta'ala protect us. But the main thing is we need people with money. So if you've got a grand plan with that money, and you've got somebody to mentor you as well, because otherwise that money will take over, right? You need a mentor. If you want to make money, go ahead. I'm going to encourage you to make money. But you need a mentor to make sure that you're doing the right thing with your money. You enjoy your money, but then you do the right thing with your money. We definitely need people with money. There's no doubt about that, right? Because that's what works today, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant people pious, righteous, halal wealth and a righteous heart of how to deal with it. And may Allah protect us from all of those that seek to, for some reason or the other. It's all dunya, dunya, dunya. Right? It's pure dunya. Even you kill your own virtue, you kill your own sense of morality, just because you're going to lose business otherwise. Or somebody's going to push it. Somebody's going to give you a bit extra for that, even though you got more than you'd ever need anyway. Right? What a weird thing that is, isn't it? Then the Prophet ﷺ, so there's a hadith in which it was asked about who are these awliya who have no fear. You know, when constantly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that these are the awliya, they'll have no fear and they will actually have, they'll have no grief. Who are these people? What kind of people are they who never have any fear, who never have any grief? So he's saying that it's those people who actually look at the internal state and reality of the dunya, when other people are looking at the outside part. They're achieving that. These guys are looking at the internal. Do I really need that? Right? Or is that going to cause corruption in me? Then he says, they're the ones who are concerned with the later conclusions of this dunya, the consequences of what's going to happen, rather than the immediate bounties and immediate wins and immediate pleasures of this world. And then he says that since these people are like that, فَأَمَاتُوا مِنْهَا مَا خَشُوا أَن يُمِيتَهُمْ, they have killed, they have put to death those things that they were fearful that will cause their death in the hereafter, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have abandoned in it whatever they have known that they will have to eventually leave anyway. So they've abandoned in advance what they'll have to eventually abandon anyway. Anything that confronts them of the blessings of this world, they forsake it, they abandon it, they shift it to the side. Nothing of it, these are such people that nothing of it is able to deceive them. They just put it aside. They know they're so clear in what they want. The dunya has actually become old in their heart. It doesn't hold any value anymore. So they don't try to revive the dunya in their heart. All the structures of the world have become desolate for them. They don't enjoy them anymore in that sense, so they don't try to increase them. Rather, what they do is they're trying to build their akhirah. They're focused on that. I'm going to have this there and I'm going to have that there. So they're actually building that. And they're selling all of their dunya. So they're doing sadaqah here, they're doing there, they're buying this or they're buying that, so that they can buy assets that will remain with them for the hereafter. Ali karramallahu wajhahu, he wrote, among the things that the advices he wrote to Salman al-Farisi radiyallahu anhu, he said, Ali radiyallahu anhu was a master of the dunya. He knew it exactly. He understood the reality of the world, in this amazing way. He's got lots of statements about it. He's got some really interesting dialogues with the dunya. In this one, he wrote to Salman al-Farisi radiyallahu anhu, he says, إِنَّمَا مَثَلُ الدُّنْيَا كَمَثَلِ الْحَيَّةِ. This dunya is like a snake. Right? Already snake, when you say a snake, it sounds quite negative already. Right? But then he explained, he says, لَيِّنٌ مَسُّهَا. It's very nice and soft to touch. So slithering, in snake skin shoes. Right? It's very slithery and smooth to touch. But قَاتِلٌ سُمُّهَا. Its poison will kill you though. فَأَعْرِضَ عَنْهَا. So just stay away from it. وَعَمَّا يُعْجِبُكَ مِنْهَا. And any other attraction on it, just stay away from it. لِقِلَّةِ مَا يَصْحَبُكَ مِنْهَا. Because none of that is going to come with you. You're not going to take any of that to the grave. وَدَعْ عَنْكَ هُمُومَهَا لِمَا تَيَقَّنْتَ مِنْ فِرَاقِهَا. So you need to abandon all of the griefs, anything that brings you grief in this world, because eventually you're going to leave it anyway. What an interesting idea. Eventually you're going to have to leave it, so stop getting upset about what you lose and what you don't get, what your friends have got but you didn't get. Oh, these guys made so much investment. 4 months ago, if I put my £20,000 into Bitcoin, it would have been 100,000 each right now. It went up by 35-40%. Those guys did it, I didn't do it. Well, there must be a reason you didn't do it, so stop crying about it. I mean, if you did it, great. But if you didn't, what's the point of crying about it? It's done, right? And then he says, وَكُنْ أَسَرَّ مَا تَكُونْ فِيهَا أَحْذَرَ مَا تَكُونُ مِنْهَا. And be more satisfied and happy the more you are abstaining from it. So the more that you're not into it, get that much more happier. So because that's really an achievement. فَإِنَّ صَاحِبَهَا كُلَّمَا اطْمَأَنَّ فِيهَا إِلَى سُرُورٍ أَشْخَصَ مِنْهَا إِلَى مَكْرُوهٍ. Because every time anybody gets too excited with dunya, it's going to get him into some really unpleasant situation. There's going to be something unpleasant that will come about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made all of these creations, the dunya and everything incorporated in it. The apparent nature of it is a temptation. But the inside of it, if you look deep enough, you'll understand that it's actually a lesson. Whoever stays along with its outside, he's going to be deceived. Whoever gets to the inside of it, he's going to be really valued according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's understood. فَأَهْلُ الْغَفْلَةِ وَالْبَطَالَةِ وَقَفُوا مَعَ مُتْعَةِ عَاجِلِهَا وَبَهْجَةِ ظَاهِرِهَا فَغَرَّتْهُمْ بِزُخْرُفِهَا وَخَدَعَتْهُمْ بِغُرُورِهَا حَتَّى أَخَذَتْهُمْ بَغْتَةً. That's why the people of heedlessness and the waste men, batala, ahlul batala. Batala means somebody who's just sitting around not doing anything useful. That's what you call batala. That's why the book that we translated and published recently called Adab al-Suhbah, the etiquette of companionship. Imam Sha'rani, great scholar of Egypt, he said, the reason I wrote this is because I saw ahlul batala. I saw all of these people that were just wasting their time. They were not pursuing anything useful. So he said, I decided to write this book. He says it at the beginning and he says it at the end as well, that this is for those kind of people. Right? Anybody who thinks that they're just losers all the time, they're not getting anywhere, they should read that book. We're not judging anybody like that. It's just if anybody judges themselves to be like that. May Allah protect us from being like that. So that's what he says. He says that those people who are wasting themselves and they're heedless, they've just stood with the adornment of the outer parts of the dunya, and they've just been deceived. They've been deceived until eventually they're just going to be overwhelmed one day. And the people who are awake, right, the people of seriousness, they've understood the interior part of it. They might have been deceived before, but at least they've gotten to the interior of it. How long do we want to be deceived for? Do we want to be deceived until we die? Let's wake up from it. Let's wake up from it, right? So, good time to wake up. فَعَرَفُوا سُرْعَةَ ذِهَابِهَا وَقِلَّةَ بَقَائِهَا فَاشْتَغَلُوا بِجَمْعِ الزَّادِ. They just started collecting. I need to get this, I need to start accumulating good things for the hereafter. A little sadaqah here, as much dhikr I can do, subhanallah, tasbihat, takbirat, and tahmidat, assisting somebody, saying a good word here and there, trying to do his qada prayers and fulfill them, doing some extra prayers, going for umrah when they can, assisting people, doing some relief work, having a pie in every, having a hand in every good pie there is. Just trying to continue to do as much as possible. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ. These are the people, لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. These are the people that they won't ever fear, because it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Things will happen that happen to other people, but it just won't bother them. That's what he's trying to say. Ya Allah. That's why some salaf, some of our pious predecessors, whenever the dunya would come to them, if something would come to them and they'd get something of the dunya, they'd say, ذَنْبٌ عُجِّلَتْ عُقُوبَتُهُ. That's how badly they treated it. They said, you know what this is? This is the bad influence of a sin that has come to me in advance. This is rather the punishment of a sin that has come in advance. That's what they took it like. They got some extra wealth or something, like, this is a punishment. What that means is that it doesn't mean you don't have to take it. It just means that you better know that this is, I better treat this in the right way. I better fulfill its rights. And then if they were in a state of need, they would say, Marhaban bi shi'ari salihin, Ya Allah. Imagine we can start doing that. If we're ever in need, then it's like, welcome to the sign of the righteous people. That is how righteous people, that's their garment essentially, right? Another way to look at it, the commentator says, is that if you want to look at it from this perspective, that the whole world and everything in it, the apparent part of it is the darkness, in the sense of where it can take you. And the light is actually inside it. So if you want light, you have to actually look deeper, rather than just as the apparent adornment of something. If you want, you can stay with the darkness and be dark. But if you get into it, then the veil will be lifted and you'll get the light. Another way to say it is that the apparent part of it, the outside aspect of everything of the world, is what you can feel of it. What we relate to as the feeling, that's what it is. But the reality of it is what substance it brings out in you, what effect it creates in you, what the benefit it can provide in you. So focus on that rather than just focus on the outside of it. Right, then the next part he says that usually our nafs and our ego likes to look at the apparent part of it. Because Allah has created a desire, has created a link between these things, that this is what we like. And there's a whole science behind it. We're living in an age when this has been perfected to a science. Before, it wasn't perfected to a science. Before, what would happen is that people understood the nafs. Basically, they would understand the nafs. But now they've done so much research into the ego and the lower self, right? And the passion and the desire. And there's multiple experts on this subject. Companies use this to completely take us by the way it looks, by the way it sounds, and by the various different ways, by the wording on it. It literally appeals to our inside. They're willing to use shaitani, like release the devil in you, right? Pure decadence. Just do it. All of this resonates with us. It just doesn't resonate with those who've understood what this is all about. Otherwise, it resonates with us. So that's it. We're going to be attracted. Let's just take it as default that I want more stuff. I'm going to want more stuff. I'm going to incline. How much can I restrain myself? Let me restrain myself. I think that's a good way to come. Rather than go into it very empty-minded, let us just understand that everything new I really enjoy. In fact, there was a book that I was reading, and literally what they said is that he told they were selling something, and they did a test with different people. In the way, just certain colors, like a person who approaches you, he said, with a brown suit in a store is going to be very differently welcomed than a person in a dark blue suit. He said that when they had the dark blue, somebody serving dark blue suit, people were coming in and buying things more easily than when he had the brown suits. Why that's the case, nobody can explain to you. And he said, there's a psychology behind it, that in fact, the person who is the one buying, he doesn't even know why he's bought the thing. It's so interesting, saying he doesn't even know why he's bought something, because it's his inside that has created that desire in him to buy it and wanted him to spend it or not. And the price that it was, it's something in him that's telling him, no, that's not too much of a price, so you can buy it. That is for the majority of people, except the people who've controlled themselves. They won't just buy things because everybody else is doing it. Which group are we in? Literally, he said, this is how the majority of people are, that they will just buy it. Right? Don't ever be a trend follower. Everybody with money is buying these bumbling boxes of what they call the Range Rovers. Don't buy one. Everybody has an iPhone for the sake of it. Don't get into that. If you want it for a different reason, that's fine. Just don't follow fads, because that's exactly what they've done for us to get them. That's really interesting. He said that the guy who's buying doesn't even know why he's buying. He feels he needs it. He did not make a rational decision. It was a psychological decision. And the majority of us are like that. How do we get away from that? Do I really need, ask ourselves. And we'll just be much better, much more frugal. We'll just be much more careful. Inshallah, I'll get the exact details hopefully next time. I just read it while I was on the flight, and I didn't memorize every detail of it. But it was quite eye-opening, to be honest. Right? And it makes sense. There was a guy who was complaining to me the other day that his wife just spends too much money. They went for Umrah and they decided, we don't need any more jubbas. It was a decision we took that we don't need any more. But we went into a shop, we said, let's just check it out. We still ended up buying 3 for £150, £50 each. We had decided we didn't need it. So you can tell that psychology there was happening, right? You don't even know why you're buying. Wallahu a'lam. Some people have it worse than others. Wallahu dhu fadlin azim. That's why he says, this was quite scary, to be honest. He says that our nafs is bound to these things, so it's very difficult for us to avoid. He says, فَلَا يُخْرِجُهَا عَنْ ذَلِكَ إِلَّا شَوْقٌ مُقْلِقٌ أَوْ خَوْفٌ مُزْعِجٌ أَوْ عِنَايَةٌ رَبَّانِيَّةٌ. The 3 things that can save us from this. Number 1 is we have such a huge desire for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that there's nothing else that excites us. That's number one. Number two, we have a huge fear. So that gets us out. That gives us some stability. Or number three, Allah just pays a special attention and chooses us to be selective. Ya Allah, give us at least one of these things. The best one is the inayatul rabbaniyah. And how? Allah might give it to you directly, but most of the time He says, إِمَّا بِوَاسِطَةِ شَيْخٍ كَامِلٍ لَهُ إِكْسِيرٌ يُقَلِّبُ بِهِ الْأَعْيَانِ أَوْ بِغَيْرِ وَاسِطَةٍ وَاللَّهُ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَظِيمٍ. He's going to give it to you either through a mentor, a shaykh, or you might get it otherwise. But most of the time it's going to come because you're willing to listen to somebody who can be your mentor and say, no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And then it becomes easy to do. So I think I've told you about the guy who wants me to have an iPhone for the last several years, right? So, alhamdulillah, now what is it? 16 right now, right? He still has the 14. And this guy was such that the guy who supplies iPhones in his area, it was guaranteed that he had to keep the first one for him. And so the last 2 years, the guy's been upset, like, why aren't you buying one? All of his friends, he's got wealthy friends, they all have one, he doesn't. Can you imagine how much that's a problem on the nafs? That he's still on 14, right? He's still on 14, he's still working. But mashallah, Allah reward him. That he's learnt to actually resist. In one thing, inshallah, it'll be in many things. There's guys I know, they used to just buy watches. Because they got lots of free money, so they used to just buy watches. Now they've calmed down. He says, the only thing I do indulge in still is perfumes. I couldn't stop him on that one. Because perfumes, there's a way out, and that the Prophet ﷺ loved perfumes. I just said, look, if you just got them lying around the museum, give them to somebody, then buy a new one if you have to. Because he's got the money to do it. Wallahu alam, wallahu alam. Inshallah, that will also go one day, right? The perfume of the hereafter will be, inshallah, more important. So, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this easy for us. Let us read what Shaykh Abdullah Gangohi says about this. He says, the soul is ensnared into excessive love of this world by the external beauty and glitter of worldly things. Consequently, the person in this condition pursues these worldly objects. So it's a natural thing. We're going to do that unless we're careful, right? So then he says, in this pursuit, man forgets the next world, but the inner realities of these things are an admonition. While every earthly object is initially beautiful and pleasurable, its ultimate end is distasteful and disgusting. As an example, consider the beginning and the end of food. That's the way it comes out. Eventually, it's disgusting in the way it comes out, right? We don't focus on that. We're never like when we say, this is just going to come out like that. And we just don't focus on that. We just enjoy, In fact, some people get stomachache with certain things, and we still do it. Some of us, it's bad for us, the sugar is bad for us, or high blood pressure will give us, but we still do it. Allah khair kare, Allah khair kare. The worldly, and so much money has been spent on all of this, but I guess we're not using that research to restrain ourselves. All the research is being used to indulge people. The worldly allurements cause man even to turn his back on the religion. If Allah's granting of success is at hand, and He bestows sound intelligence, the soul is prevented from falling victim to the superficial beauty and glitter of the world. The essential nothingness and ultimate extinction of them are kept in sight, and man does not plunge into these deceptions. He contents himself with needs. He leaves everything else and goes in search of the everlasting treasure. That's a really good conclusion of the longer commentary that we read. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us His inayah, rabbaniyah, give us this divine care so that we can stop. Again, just think a few times. That's it. Just realize this is going to be normal and natural for me to want. Let me just think, do I really need it? And what the benefit and what the harms of it possibly can I do something better with this? And may Allah grant us ease in that regard. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذو الجلال والإكرام اللهم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث يا حنان يا منان لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين جزا الله عنا محمد ما وآله يا غفار يا فتاح
يا ستار يا حفيظ يا سلام يا لطيف يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Ya Allah, have mercy on us. Ya Allah, bless us. Ya Allah, forgive us. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we ask you for your special attention, for your barakah, for your blessing, for your kindness, Ya Allah, for your special grace, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, assist us in everything that we do. Oh Allah, protect us from being deceived by this dunya or from anyone else, Ya Allah. Allow us to see the inside of things, Ya Allah. Allow us to see the consequence of things. Allow us to see the substance of things, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, protect us from being just apparent people who just look at the outside of things and get deceived by things. Oh Allah, assist us and protect us, Ya Allah, from falling into wrongs, falling into evils, falling into problems. Oh Allah, assist us in this regard, Ya Allah. Assist us and our children. Oh Allah, Oh Allah, you have granted us so much more than so many others, Ya Allah. Allow us to deal with it in the right way. Allow us to fulfill the rights of what you have given us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, there are many challenges around us. There are many who seek to harm us, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, grant us protection. Oh Allah, grant us protection. And oh Allah, help us and assist us against those who seek to harm us. Oh Allah, do away with our enemies, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, assist us in this regard and help our brothers and sisters who are especially suffering. Oh Allah, help our brothers relieve that issue, remove that problem, grant us ascendancy and understanding, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, all those who have lost, oh Allah, in Palestine and other places, oh Allah, grant them much better in recompense, Ya Allah. Grant them fortitude and endurance and, Ya Allah, strength, and oh Allah, release those who are incarcerated. Oh Allah, release those who have been incarcerated, those who have been imprisoned, oh Allah, especially those who have been in prison wrongly, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, protect us and our Muslims from doing that which brings us into disrepute. Oh Allah, from doing things which are despicable, from doing things which are haram and which are wrong, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, assist us in this regard and help us. And oh Allah, protect us, our children and our families and our descendants until the day of judgment, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, complete all of allow us to have barakah, barakah in our, and blessings in everything that permissible that we do. Oh Allah, our masjid project, oh Allah, allow it to be completed, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, remove any obstacles in His path, and oh Allah, allow people to turn towards it and be benefited from it. And oh Allah, assist us and make all the work that we do sincerely for your state. Oh Allah, protect us from physical harm and from all other harm that can come at us. Oh Allah, protect us in that regard and guide us to do that which is productive, beneficial and useful, and that is a blessing. Oh Allah, make us the way you want us to be. And oh Allah, we request that you send your abundant blessings on our Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
With the Rayyan Courses subscription, you'll gain immediate access to over 250 hours of exclusive video lessons taught by experienced scholars. Sign up now at rayyancourses.com to continue your journey. Your next lesson is waiting.